and welcome to another session on grammar and usage. Your books are made available, children, so you are requested to get them at the earliest. The university has let out the book for English grammar and usage. It's available in HNC publication. I got it from HNC publication Kundangulam. You might find it in Sion also. So just give them a call and see if you can get the book because we have already covered all the basic topics, and you don't have to worry about not covering the topics from the text because the basics are always the same. So anyway, buy the textbook and see to it that you do the exercises from the text. That is what you are supposed to do. Now, another thing, phrases and idioms. I did phrases and idioms way before this. I bought the text, so I've given various different phrases and idioms, not knowing the content of the text prescribed to you. So now that you have the text, please go through the phrases and idioms because you will be your exams. For your exam, your question paper might be related to those that are mentioned in the text. So chapter 4 is on synonyms and antonyms. We are to cover only 3 more topics, and with that we will finish English grammar and usage, synonyms and antonyms, and mood and modality, and also a part of the part of morphology, that is compounding, affixing, inflection and derivation. Okay, with that we will come to we will finish our grammar and usage. Okay, so let's start with synonyms and antonyms. Now, having a good vocabulary is more than knowing a large amount of words. It demands the person's ability to choose words with greater precision. Every word is a tool ready to be used at the right time. The more words you master, the better your chances are for finding the apt ones for the communication task at hand. A knowledge of synonyms and antonyms are inevitable for the enrichment of one's vocabulary. So, what are synonyms? Synonyms are words that have similar but not identical meaning. They're similar. There are many such words in English. The correct usage of them can be acquired only by careful reading and practice. The word synonym originates from the 2 Greek words syn meaning together and onym meaning name. In English, almost all words have more than one synonym. Learning synonyms of words enable the students to improve writing and speaking skills. Synonyms can belong to any part of speech. For example, it could be a noun, it could be a verb, it could be an adjective, it could be an adverb, or even a preposition. Examples of synonyms are wash and clean. Now, wash and clean are verbs, and they are similar in their meaning. But at the same time, they are not identical in meaning. They have similarity. They are similar in meaning. Another one would be vessel and receptacle. That's a noun. Okay. Beautiful and attractive. They are adjectives. Quickly and rapidly. They are adverbs. In and into, prepositions. Both, however, are different in their meaning. They're similar, but at the same time, their usage is different. So you have to be careful when you speak, when you use in and into, because they are similar, yet they are not identical, and they are different in their usage. Now you have next is antonyms. An antonym is a word which is opposite in meaning to another. In many cases, antonyms can be formed by adding a prefix to the word. For example, normal, the word normal, if you add a prefix ab, it becomes abnormal. Use, when you add again a prefix ab, it becomes abuse. Body, antibody. Social, anti-social. So you get the climax by adding the prefix. Advantage, disadvantage. Like, dislike. Agree, disagree. Appear, disappear, and so on. Now you have a set of antonyms given to you in page 42. I request you to go through them, and also you are to do the exercises given in page 40, and we shall take this up in the discussion session. Antonyms and also the synonyms as well. Now, by changing the suffix of the word also, you can get antonyms. For example, careful. If you change the suffix of the word careful, full is the suffix, and if you change that to less, you get careless, which is the opposite of careful. Employer, and if you change the ER and add EE, you will get the opposite of employer, that is employee. Fearful, fearless. Harmful, harmless. Merciful, merciless. Thankful, thankless. Now, if you can make antonyms out of nouns also. For example, some of the examples of antonyms of nouns: adult, child; back, front; captivity, freedom; amateur, professional; beauty, ugliness. Okay, beauty is the abstract noun, ugliness also is also the abstract noun. Okay, so collection, distribution. Now some of the examples of antonyms of adjectives are angry, pleased; beneficial, harmful; common, rare; bitter, sweet; cheerful, gloomy. If in verbs you have acknowledge, deny; arrest, release; conclude, begin; believe, doubt; build, destroy; start, finish. Now antonyms of adverbs, using adverbs: alone, together; always, never; mercilessly, mercifully; courteously, rudely; earlier, later; before, after. Again, there are a few exercises and you are to do the exercises, which we shall take up in the discussion session. Next topic is mood and modality. Now, what is mood and modality? See, verbs have different ways and manners of expression. Mood is used to refer to a verb category or form which indicates whether the verb expresses a fact, that is the indicative mood, or a command, that is the imperative mood, or a question, that is the interrogative mood, or a condition, that is the conditional mood, or even a wish or possibility, that is the subjunctive mood. So you have the indicative mood, you have the imperative mood, interrogative mood, conditional mood, and the subjunctive mood. Okay, so it's somewhat similar to time and tenses. See the difference in time and tenses? They are quite similar, right? Yeah, somewhat similar to that, you have mood and modality. All right, now let's start with the indicative mood. Indicative mood, the form of a verb indicative mood is the form of a verb that is used to express statement of fact. They are statements. Okay, for example, you have the declarative sentences, right? Yeah, so it's like that. They are coming here tomorrow. They go to college by bus. So these are all facts. They express statement of fact, and therefore they are called the indicative mood. Next is the imperative mood. Now this is another commonly observed mood of the verb. It is used to express a command, request, order, caution, prayer, advice, suggestion, etc. The verb in the imperative mood does not generally take a subject. For example, repeat the statement is a command. Oh God, please help us is a prayer. Please sit down is a request. Be careful while climbing the stairs is an advice. Don't enter into this room is a caution. So in imperative mood, it expresses a command, a request, an order, a caution, a prayer, advice, suggestions, etc. Here, the verb in the imperative mood does not take a subject. Look at the sentence again. Repeat that statement. Where is the subject? You don't have the subject. The subject is understood. Oh God, please help us. Please sit down. Be careful while climbing the stairs. Don't enter into this room. Here, the subject is missing. All right? It does not generally take a subject. Next is the subjunctive mood. The subjunctive mood, it is used to express a desire or a wish. For instance, I wish I knew the answer. It is high time we did something about corruption. I wish I were a superstar. I wish he would help us. God bless you. That's a present subjunctive mood. If only we had a car. That's a past subjunctive mood. Now it also denotes a purpose as in the following. Work hard that you may succeed. It denotes a purpose. We eat that we may live. Okay. Another place where you use this subjunctive mood is a doubtful condition, is when you have a doubtful condition or a possibility. I'm hoping that he may come this evening. Okay. Another place is, another thing that you have to remember is, after expressions like it is time, it is high time, etc., this mood is used after such expressions. For example, it is high time I bought a new pair of shoes. It is time we started packing. All these are subjunctive moods. So it is this mood. These are things. These are clue words where you can understand whether it is the subjunctive mood or imperative or the indicative mood. Then you also have you also use this after the expressions such as if, as if, as though, where you express some improbability. For example, if I were you, I would accept that offer. She felt as if all her worries had gone. So here you are expressing an improbability. Okay, so these are the places where you use the subjunctive mood. So basically you have the three moods, the three type, that is the indicative, the imperative, and the subjunctive mood. The interrogative is always a question, and conditional is always it's always a condition. Okay, so the three important ones are the indicative, the imperative, and the subjunctive. Clear? Now, what is modality? The term modality refers to a speaker or a writer's attitude towards a point of view about a state of the world. Now, modals are used to say whether something is real or true, or whether it is a subject of speculation rather than definite knowledge. For example, Mary is in the office now. What does that indicate? It indicates certainty, surety. Okay, Mary may be in the office now indicates a possibility rather than certainty. Now look at the next sentence. Mary should be in the office now. That indicates what is desirable or necessary. Okay, she should be in the office now. You desire or you hope that she is in the office. All the above statements carry modality. In other words, the speaker's point of view. So see the difference between mood and modality? Okay. Now, modal verbs play an important role in the expression of modality. The main modal verbs are can, could, may, might, will, shall, would, should, must. There are semi-modal verbs also that are similar to the modal verbs. For example, dare, need, ought to, used to. All these are also semi-modal verbs. Okay. In spoken English, we use the contracted form, and the contracted form of will is like for instance, I will see you, I'll see you. Okay, or the verb contraction of I will is I'll. Will not is contracted to what? Next one is would. Requests are more polite if they are made with would. Would you bring me some water, please? Would you like me, or would you like to come to my house? Would can function also as the past tense of will in reported clauses. I knew that would cause a commotion. I knew that would cause a commotion. Shall and should. Now, shall and should with I, shall, I is always used to make offers and suggestions. Shall I help you? Shall we begin dinner? Shall I call you on your mobile? So, shall I help you is an offer. Shall we begin dinner is a suggestion. Shall I call you on your mobile is a suggestion again. Shall is used in the second and the third person to express possibility. He is the third person singular. He shall meet you in the evening. You shall reach there by afternoon. You can be either the third person, it's the second person singular, or it can be in the plural also. So anyway, second and third person, when you use shall with second and third person, it is mostly used to express possibility. Then shall is also used to express command. He shall go at once. We shall do what I say. She shall do what I say. He shall carry out my instructions. Shall is also used to denote a future action. I shall be present there by 6 p.m. Shall is also used to express volunteering and promising. I shall take care of your travel expenses. Shall is used to form questions. Shall I reach Chennai tomorrow morning if I go by this train? When shall we know the result of the examination? In questions, shall is also used to ask the will or desire of the person addressed. Shall we go to the beach? Shall I close the window? When you have the word let's, we use shall we in the question tag. Let's have a cup of tea, shall we? Let's go for a walk, shall we? We did discuss this when we did our question tags. So in spoken English, shall is contracted to I'll, and shall not is contracted to shan't. Now, should is used to indicate that what the speaker considers to be ideal or desired state of affairs. She should be wearing a mask while traveling. The chief guest should have been there at 10, but he's not here yet. Okay, so that indicates what the speaker considers to be ideal, what he considers from his point of view, or the desired state of affairs, what he feels is right. Okay, she should be wearing a mask while traveling. It is what you consider ideal. Okay. Should is also or often used to express duty, need, or obligation. You should consult a doctor immediately. We should respect the elders. They should work hard for the examination. Now, should also expresses probability. He should reach his office now. It's a probability. Maybe if at all if everything is okay, if the traffic and all is fine, then he should reach his office now. Should is very commonly used in giving advice and making suggestions. You should not leave the door open. You should tell him straight what you think. Now, in spoken English, should is contracted to the, and should not is to shouldn't. I should like, or is the contracted form is I'd like. Okay. Now, next one is must. Now, must is used to speculate the truth of something. Okay. For instance, you say something very alarming, very surprising or alarming, and you just can't believe it, and you speculate the truth of it, and you say, you must be mad, or you must be mad. Or you say something very strange, very surprising, very not acceptable, or something very strange or not something that is hard to believe. You say, you must be mad. You must be joking. There must be some truth in it. That is also a possibility. Okay, you're speculating the truth of something. So she's saying, so there must be some truth in it. Okay, so these are all where you use must. Okay. That is when you speculate the truth of something. Then must is also used for expressing obligation. I must remember to call her on her birthday. It's your obligation. I must finish this work today. You must submit your worksheets by tomorrow. It is also used to express polite invitations. You must come along and have dinner with us. Must is also used for indicating certain rules. All passengers must have a traveling ticket. All candidates must show a valid ID card. Must is also used to talk about prohibition. You mustn't smoke here. Mobile phones must be switched off before the meeting starts. Now, must is also used in the negative sense. For instance, mustn't. It can be used both in formal and informal English. Must can be used to give someone advice or recommendation also. For example, if you go to Agra, you must see the Taj Mahal. So it's a recommendation or an advice. You must see this movie, it's amazing. So these are all advice or recommendations. Now, using must is to take deductions. You use must to make deductions. For example, they must be rich. They live in 2 huge mansions. It must be difficult. It must be a difficult exam. Only 20% of the candidates have passed. So you are deducting something out of it. You are looking at the general aspects and you are deducting something out of it. Okay, so must is used to make deductions. Dare, need, ought to, and used to are also called semi-modal verbs, because in some ways they behave grammatically like lexical verbs, and in some ways they behave like grammatical verbs, like the core modal verbs. So they are both. They can sometimes, I did explain that in some of the videos, that dare, need, ought to, and used to are also used as main verbs. So that's why we call them as lexical as well as the grammatical verbs. Okay. When we now these semi-modals, when it is followed by an infinitive without to, you use it in this way: I daren't ring him again. Okay, it's not I dare to not ring him again. I daren't ring him again. I dare not ask his father to lend his money. or lend him money. I dare not tell her what has happened. Now, in front of these verbs, normally we do not use the infinitive to. To is not used. Okay. So we normally use the bare infinitive. Bare infinitive means using just the infinitive without to. Dare can also be used to form negative statements. No one dares to go there. Now here you use the to, but that is not an infinitive. That doesn't function as an infinitive. Okay, no one dares go there. Now, no one dares to go there is used as an ordinary verb, whereas no one dare go there is used as a semi-modal verb. Also used to express the feeling of strong disappointment or disapproval. How dare she criticize her teacher? How dare you suggest she was a fool? And so on. It's also used to show strong disapproval. Now, need. Need is another semi-modal verb commonly used in the negative, declarative, to indicate absence of obligation or necessity to do something. She needn't take the books if she doesn't want to. Students need not wear uniforms to school tomorrow. You don't need to come if you don't want to. So normally need as a semi-modal verb, they commonly occur in the negative declarative. Okay. Needn't have plus the participle, ed participle, past participle is used to refer to events which happened but which the speaker considers were unnecessary. For example, I needn't have sent her to such a faraway place. I needn't have brought so much food with me. So you're speaking about something that you shouldn't have done, or it was unnecessary. Okay. So needn't plus needn't have plus the past participles normally used to show refer to an event which happened and which the speaker considers as unnecessary. You shouldn't have done it, or it was a waste, a kind of like. Now, ought to. The meaning of ought to is similar to the meaning of should. Ought to refers to an ideal or desired state of affairs. I really ought to go to the park and do some cycling. You ought to invest more money for your child's education. Ought is used to state what is likely or probable. It ought to take about 3 hours for them to reach here. Ought is also used to form interrogatives. Ought we to inform the police about the theft? The negative of ought is oughtn't and is found in question tags. Yes, oughtn't. I ought to hand this over to the police, oughtn't I? This portrait ought to be hung somewhere, oughtn't it? Okay. These are exceptional cases. Okay. Normally we don't use them. Like for instance, I ought to hand this over to the police. Shouldn't I is also correct. There's no harm in saying shouldn't I. So here you can use oughtn't as well. Used to. The word used to refers to past habitual behavior or some state of affairs in the past which are no longer true. I used to dance well when I was young. There used to be beautiful meadows in our countryside. When a tag follows a clause with used to, it is normally made with the auxiliary did. For instance, you used to go to the office by bus, didn't you? She used to cook well, didn't she? So when a tag follows a clause with used to, you used to go to office by bus. It is normally made with the auxiliary did, and you use didn't you. The tag normally use what you use is did. Okay, it is made, the tag is made with did, the auxiliary did. Okay, she used to cook well. Okay, used to cook well. All right, didn't she? So when a tag follows a clause with used to, it normally is made with the auxiliary did. Okay, now you have exercises, ample lot of exercises, and you shall do it, complete it, and we shall take it up in the discussion session. So that's all for now. I shall see you in the next video. That would be our last one for this semester, and that would be morphology, compounding, affixation, inflections, and derivation. So with that, we should be able to finish our semester, the portions for our semester, and we would hopefully get ample lot of time to do revision before our exam. So till then, thank you and keep safe.